Alright. Welcome to IT Security Labs, and today we have a fun machine from TryHackMe. This is our very first machine from TryHackMe that we're going to be exploiting, and I'm very excited to show you guys how we can integrate TryHackMe and our local lab here so we can continue detecting attacks and at the same time utilize that wonderful platform. So TryHackMe does have a wonderful place in our lab here because, lucky for us, they allow us to download the OVA machines, which is an amazing capability that we have. So thank you all for joining tonight. We are going to have a really wonderful time. It's good to see you, Matthew and Ricardo. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining tonight, and as always, appreciate having you guys and your support during these live streams. If you're brand new to our channel, we do hands-on learning and mostly IT security labs. And as you can see, we are both on the defense side and also on the offensive side. And I'm a firm believer that you'll get better if you understand both sides. There's no way you can just go ahead and just attack things without being curious about what the good guys are seeing as you make your noise. So that's why we have Security Onion here, ready to go before we do our attack. So this is going to be super exciting for us. BT, it's good to see you, man. I hope you have your lab fired up and ready to go. All right, so what we have here. I went to TryHackMe and I'm choosing the offensive pen testing path. I'm doing this because I'm going for the OSCP and the Licensed Penetration Tester certifications. Sometime early in 2021, I'm going for the Licensed Penetration Tester from EC Council. I already have the certification material. I already have the exam voucher, so that one is ready. It's a 24-hour exam, hands-on, so I need to be very serious about practicing. So that's why I'm going to TryHackMe. They have a few machines in the offensive pen testing here, and I'm going to go after those machines right now. And as you can see, this is the path, and I'm not going to do it in order. I'm going to start today with a machine called Blue. So that's what we're going to be attacking. TryHackMe is free, and you're going to also pay, depending on if you have the funds or not, but you can do this machine for free. So if you want to follow along, please do. Otherwise, another suggestion that we have been following is this list of machines. I think there's about 49 of them. We have done a lot on this channel from this list. I have done a lot of the Windows here. There's actually 30 videos of these Windows machines on this channel. So now we are on TryHackMe. So Blue is our machine. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to be answering all these questions here, including starting by joining this room. Then we'll answer all the questions. We'll do it the way that they want us to do. In this case, which is using Metasploit. Then hopefully if we have some time, we can just do it manually, which is running yet another Python script. So it's nothing special. All right, and as we do this, we're going to be seeing traffic show up in our Security Onion because they allow us to download the machines from this location here. So we are in luck, and I'm a big fan of this setup that we have here. So that's what we have today. Another new thing that I'm going to introduce that we haven't done is Parrot OS. This is what I'm using for the Licensed Penetration Tester certification in my class, so I might as well use it right here with you guys. So I don't have all my tools here. This is all a brand new machine, so if I need any tools, I'll be adding them as needed. So I don't have my scripts and everything running, but that's okay. All right, enough of the introductions. Let's get started with the attack. First thing first, make sure that we have our machine running. Blue, like I showed you, it's running here in VirtualBox. Download it from right here. So if you're interested, here is a link for you. There isn't much difference between Kali and Parrot, really. They're both. I haven't seen much except that, you know, the way that this display things is just a bunch of tools on an operating system. And the way that they display things, especially the latest version of Kali, they look exactly like Parrot, the way that they display the interface. All right. So our machine is powered on. If I do show here, unfortunately we get to see that it's a Windows 7 machine. You don't see this when you're on the TryHackMe platform, but since we are in our lab here, we kind of have to cheat. Our machine got the IP address of 192.168.38.25 from our DHCP. This is the lab that we set up using the 11 videos on this channel, so check it out if you want to set it up. All right, so we know this is our victim machine. Let's go and ping it. On TryHackMe, they say that this machine is not responding to ping. In my lab, it responds to ping. So we are happy. All right, so as you can see, it's working. Let's run our nmap the way we normally do things, right? Nmap minus sv minus sc 192.168.38.25. And what we're doing here is we are in the process of gathering information. Nmap find me versions of anything that you find, and also use some default scripts. So let's run that right now. And while nmap is running, let's take care of business on the TryHackMe platform. Let's answer some questions here, because we really want to complete this challenge by the time we're done here. So that's why today is going to be a little bit faster, but hopefully we'll complete this challenge and also look at our traffic here, make sure that we see it. All right, so let's go here. It says scan the machine. If you're unsure how to tackle this, we already know how to scan a machine. So let's mark this as complete. The scan is in the way. How many ports are open that are under 1000? Scan is still going on. Okay, let's give it a minute. Okay, what is the machine vulnerable to? Okay, they want us to find the vulnerability. So that means we might need to run vulnerability scans using nmap scripts. Let's see if our cheat sheet has something like that. I don't. Okay, let me update that right now, because I do have something for our cheat sheet. There we go. Next time this shows up, there we go. Now we know. If we ever need to run any script scans looking for vulnerabilities, this is the nmap option. You can read the nmap documentation for this. All right, so now when we come back to our results, let's look at them. Question was, how many ports under 1000? 1, 2, 3. All right, that is correct. What is this machine vulnerable to? MS something. Okay, let's run the vulnerability scan using this nmap option here. We're only doing this because that's what they want. And this is why TryHackMe is really good for people who are just getting started, because they do walk you through the process. If you are like me and you've been running this for a while, you might find that to be a little bit redundant and spending more time. So we're running again this vuln scan. So let's let it run. And while it's running, let's close this. We don't need our DHCP server anymore, right? So here's where my Parrot is running, and here's my Kali. So Kali is here sitting as backup, but Parrot is running here locally on this machine. Let's check our nmap results so far in Security Onion. Let's do this in the last 4 hours. Refresh. We already made some noise in the lab, so we might as well look at what we have done. And we just ran nmap here. And for good measure, let's show everybody what we are doing. If you're brand new to this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. We do these wonderful labs, and the goal is to learn hands-on in our own lab here. So what you're going to see here is this lab has not been ran in the past 4 hours, as you can see. So there's this little dot up here. Let me see. Can you see that? Yeah, all the way up here. That's 24 count from Nmap. This is Nmap generating all this traffic, because that's all we have done so far. So by running default scripts scans from Nmap, you are going to trigger a bunch of things. And right now, since I'm running more, if I refresh this number should be going up if this is in real time. And sometimes it has to index things, but this should be going up right now. And the same happens on this interface. It's the same Security Onion intrusion detection system. So if you're curious, when you run your stuff, the good guys will be finding you. And here we go. You're making a lot of noise here. All right, so let's go back and check what is this machine vulnerable to. We ran Nmap with the option to see the vulnerabilities by using SV, just to see the versions, service versions with the script bounds. And in this case, we see fun stuff. It says vulnerable in all caps to this guy. Risk factor is high. And it says MS that. I think that's what they want. Let's go and answer that question. Let's go and answer the question. I think that's what they want. Yeah. Submit. Okay, I was like, wait a second. So it's correct. We got that one right. Right, so we move on from this enumeration. Now we need to gain access to our system. And here they're talking about Metasploit. So we are going to use Metasploit. So if you're not a big Metasploit fan because you're an OSCP guy or something like that, no, we're just going to do it the way that they suggest here. Then for this one, we can also look up a Python script or Bash script or whatever. But for now, let's do it the way that they do it. This is the best way to introduce TryHackMe to those who have never used it before, like myself. So it says start Metasploit. Oh, we will. This new tab. Oh, okay. You can tell that I'm new to Parrot. I usually have a file, a new tab here. Okay. You know what? We're not gonna use these results anymore. Let's clear the screen here. So it says start Metasploit, MSF console. That's how we start Metasploit. I'm getting an error. I just updated my Parrot, so let's hope this doesn't cause any big problems, but let's ignore it. Let's move on with our terminal. It should work. There might have been a cleanup problem because I just upgraded it, but that's okay. So that's how we start Metasploit. Let's answer the question. We did that. Find the exploit code we will run against the machine. What is the full path? Okay, let's do that. So we said this is our vulnerability. Let's search for that. Here's our Metasploit. I think we don't have to do search exploit since we're already here. We can just search for the actual exploit. And here we go. We have Eternal Blue. And what you're looking at here is you're looking for your version of Windows, the correct kernel to make sure that you choose the right one. And in this case, this is Windows 8. This is an auxiliary scanner. I want the actual exploit, so this is 2. So I think they want the full path. So this is the full path. All right, we got that one right. So since it's right, let's use it. use 2. Alright, so now that we did that, it's defaulting to 64-bit, which is fine for our purposes here. What I normally do is I use the 64-bit one. Since it's Metasploit, it's automated, it's quick. If it fails, then I'll come back and try to figure out the 32-bit. Or I might try to just figure out, is it 32-bit or 64-bit? But in this case, that thing said it's fine. So let's use this. Let's show, you can say options or show options. So what does it want here? It wants us to set up our host. So let's go back here. I think that's what it wants. Show options. We did that. It wants us to say set our host. Let's submit that. Wait a second. Show options and set the one required value. What is the name of this value? Wait a second. Is it not our host? Yeah, it wants our host. Am I with an S? There we go. Now we answered that. Run the exploit. Okay, let's just mark this as complete because we're going to do it right now. Set our host 192.168.38.25. Exploit, or you can type run. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, we might have to reset our machine. This exploit is not that stable for most people, so depending on what we see here. All right, Metasploit session opened, so we are in business. 2 things to note here. Security Onion should have at least seen some of this noise that we're generating here. Since we are detecting, we have an intrusion detection system, this should not go unnoticed in any decent intrusion detection system. So here we are, we opened this Metasploit session. Is that what they wanted us? Yes. Confirm that the exploit ran correctly. Okay, I can shelf it. Let's mark this one is complete as well. They said to shelf this by Control Z. Background that, yes. Okay, my session is background. All right, so we now have our session and we're in there. Simple stuff, right? So far we haven't done anything complicated, and as you know, I try to avoid this Metasploit framework because of this simplicity. I think you can quickly learn how to use it, but hey, this is part of our learning process. Let's get it done, and that's why it's also going a little bit faster than usual today. All right, let's answer more questions. Escalate. Let's escalate our privileges. Oh boy, we have more things to answer, so let's move faster. If you haven't already, we did that. Research online how to convert the Metasploit shell in Metasploit. That's a simple process. You can use the multi-handler shell, the post Metasploit. Let me show you what it looks like. Here it is. Use this one. Let's wait and see. All right, so let's go and use that. I think that's what you do. Awesome. No, this is a free room. If you want to do this room, it's 100% free. It's open to anyone, so you could be doing this with me right now. No problem. So if you want to do this right now, go ahead and get started. You can do this in less than 20 minutes, I think, if you are like a lot of people. Okay, let's see our sessions here. again, here is we have session 1. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I need to specify which one to use. It says one or more failed. Okay, validate session. Let's do this. Can I say use session 1? Is that the right syntax for this thing? Or am I messing it up? No. Like that. All right, you know what? Forget this stuff. Let's answer some questions here. Set the required option. You may need to list all sessions. Okay, we did that. That was session 1. Run. If this doesn't work, try completing the exploit from the previous task one more time. I'm not doing that. Once the manipulator shell conversation complete, select that session for use. Okay, I want to go to the flags. Verify that you have escalated. Get system to confirm this. Get system. Okay, let's do that. I don't care. Yeah, it's get system. You know what? I'm going to wing it. I'm doing it my way. There we go. We can do some stuff. All right, so we are in the system. Let's say we are a system. PS yeah, we are in there. Okay. All right, so once we are in a Windows machine, usually I'm not looking, when I'm in here, I'm not looking through the Metasploit shell. I'm usually in within the actual shell. So I'm either running Windows commands from the command line, or I'm running PowerShell commands. But this is more powerful because you can move files here. You can make it do more. It's more powerful than just being on the system itself because of how you can interact between the victim and your local Kali Linux machine. That's why it's important for us to learn this, even though it's not the most glamorous way of doing things, right? So we listed everything with that, and we did that. I guess we can create some password then. Wait, so what's left on escalate here? Migrate this process using migrate process ID, command web process ID. List all processes running via PS command. Just because your system doesn't mean the process is. Find the process towards the bottom of the list that is running as systemnt. Write down the process ID, far left. Okay, let's do that. So that's the same. Which process are we talking about? No. Which process are we talking about? Let me try to just migrate one of these. Which one don't I like? Near the bottom, let's migrate 1924. What is the point of this? Okay. We migrated something. I migrated the last one. Let's see if it matters. So now let's grab some hashes by using hash dump, which is easier. I'll be honest with you, this feels like cheating in a lot of ways. I like to be able to bring in my mimikatz here and actually do things manually. The learning is better that way. So just know that what we're doing here is overly simplified, and there is a place for this, especially if you're a pen tester in the real world. You don't have time to be dealing with manual tools anyway. But for learning purposes, try to do this manually. Especially the process of getting hashes, where with just hash dump from here. Try to get your tools in there and get them the manual way. I think that you learn better that way. Okay, so we did hash dump and we did get that. Copy this. What is the name of the non-default user? Admin guest John. John is the non-default user. All right, copy this password hash to a file and research how to crack it. What is the correct password? Well, since we're in the cheating mode, here's the password hash. If you haven't seen Windows hashes before, this is the hash. This is John, the non-default user. Guest and administrator, they come pre-bagged in Windows. These ones don't. This is actually similar to what you see in the Certified Ethical Hacker Practical. I'm not telling you what's in the exam, but they like to know, they like to ask you like, yay, what is the non-default crap like this? So keep in mind. So this is the part that we can crack to get the password. Well, since we're in the cheating mode and we're not doing anything manual in this today, let's go to crack station. Here's our hash. If you say I'm not a robot, that's the password right here. Crack the hash, and here's the password. So crackstation.net will crash these NTLM hashes for you very quickly, especially if they're easy. You can crack them locally on your machine as well, but today we're doing it the easy way. All right. Find the flags. Oh. So what did I miss on escalate? Select this module, show the options. What value to change all caps. Oh, the value was sessions. Or session. I think it was session. All right, there we go. Now we're good. Let's find the flags. This thing said it wasn't a boot to root. Now it's making me find flags. Okay, so flag 1, only submit the flag contents. You know what? Let's go and do this. There's a few things that you can do here, and I'll share with you right here. The first one is you can just search for the flags. Since they gave you the format in which they want the flags, in this case, they want contents inside a flag. Let's go and find these flags. Let's jump in. It's there. Ooh, it's a big one. But do we have anything here? I doubt it. You can search the whole Windows file system for the flags You just need to know the format of the flags. That's what I'm doing. I want to find one flag, then I'll search for the rest. Start from the beginning. There. See, being on Linux does. All right, there is our first flag, flag1.txt. So we know the format. Oh, is it not cat again? It's type in Windows, isn't it? I think it's type. No, it's not type. What is it? It's a weird command. It's what? I know it, and I always say it doesn't make sense. Someone say that in the chat. What is the alternative of cat in Windows before I? It is type, right? So what was I doing? What was I doing wrong? Oh, it's flag1.txt. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Thank you. I knew that. And this has never made sense to me. Why call it type? I get cat. Okay, so here's the contents of flag 1. Awesome. All right, so here's to make our life easier so we don't deal with all this stuff, I have a cheat sheet for us. Here's what we do in the Metasploit session, because I think it's a very important skill to have. Oh, it doesn't want me to clear. Now that we know the format of the flag, we can say search the file system for this file, flagstar.txt. If you hit enter here, it will search for all the flags and let us know where they are. So we don't have to go and manually find them, because they gave us hints of where they are. We don't want to do that. We just go and find out where they are, and this is the result that you see. After a while, it does take a long time, but it will find them. So now from the search in Metasploit, we know that the other one is on John's documents. That's flag 3. Flag 2 is under system 32 config. So let's go and grab them. But the way you get them is search. So if you're searching for a specific file in the Metasploit shell, you can use the search feature, which is, I think, helpful. And this makes it in our cheat sheet. I haven't gotten a place to put it yet, so it's in my quick notes here, but it goes somewhere. So let's go to John's documents and grab flag 3 first. Somehow I don't like to not see where I am. I think Windows doesn't care about caps. Yeah, it doesn't. Admin documents can be valuable. Yeah, they can be. Alright, now let's go find flag 2. Flag 2 location is of interest, they said. So Windows system 32 config flag 2. So let's go to system 32 config. Not cat. This is why you want to practice. If you spend too much time on the terminal in Linux, now in Windows, it's hard to switch back. Okay, there we go. So if we submit this, this machine should tell us now, according to TryHackMe, submit that. We should be done. Yeah, we got it. We got a badge. We can share it to Twitter and LinkedIn and everybody. So as you can see, we completed this room in no time. I mean, this was bam, bam, bam. We were in and we learned a few things here. So what is the biggest takeaway? Blue, Eternal Blue, that's the exploit that we went after. Hack the Box is the same exploit, and during the exploitation, we just use Metasploit. So let's go and do some autopsy here. And this is where I think I add value to your life compared to all the other write-ups that you might find on this machine. I'm showing you how much noise we generated now in the process of getting those 3 flags. Here's what the good guys will see if they had Security Onion running. First of all, they're going to see your Nmap scans because you did stuff. And look at this. Eternal Blue got caught by name as well, the exploit, and multiple times. So we know that even if you use Metasploit, Eternal Blue is going to get caught. That's a big takeaway. So don't try to exploit it. In fact, by just scanning from Eternal Blue using the default Nmap scans, that's how we get caught. Let's go to the hunt interface here. All right. So most of these that are complaining about ET scan, that's probably Nmap getting caught. Possible Metasploit payload construct bind. Oh, look at that. On port 444, that is our reverse shell. Let's go and read that. So our source IP address, remember, if you come back here, we are done here. IPA, we are 23, our victim machine is 25. Let's go back here. So source IP 23 to 25 on port 444, and it was picked as a possible Metasploit payload common construct bind. So Metasploit has no place in a pen test where you're trying to hide. That is the sad truth. And here's what it does. If you're ever reading this as a security analyst, this is what you see. And hopefully the attackers were at least more sophisticated than us today. Network Trojan detected. So it's seeing it as a Trojan. I don't know if there is even a need to read PCAP from this. But hey, I like to see what things look like. Let's see, what does a PCAP look like when you get a Trojan in your network. All right. So here's our PCAP. So port 444 initiated here by, in this case, it came from this source port to that port. So this is what our victim machine connected from. All right, let's open this one up a little. So if you wanted to really dig in the pickups, this is where you find the pickup data. Let's go to Kibana and look at the same traffic, if that's your cup of tea. If you like the other sort of SIEM looking data analysis. So this lab is very simple to set up, and as you can see, we have 97,000 events from the last 24 hours. Not all of them are bad, of course. We want the alerts. Thanks, Ricardo. Isn't that interesting? Wouldn't we want to know how do we stop this attack? Eternal Blue is a kernel. You need to patch your systems. This is on Windows 7, Windows 7 Service Pack 1. You need to upgrade that to newer service packs. Keep up to date with your updates. Unless if you have reasons to not update your systems, always update your systems. So as you can see here, this is when we were doing most of our attacks, when we spiked up here. So as an administrator, Ricardo, if you wanted, you can set up an alert that if your baseline is under 10, all of a sudden you're getting 30. Maybe you want it to send you an alert, like a go alert or something like that, to wake you up in the middle of the night, to remind you that something is happening at work. People are in your network exploiting Eternal Blue using Metasploit. They're going to town. All right, so here is where we can see some of this. And as you can see, it's a bunch of Nmap scans. Let's go to 2. Here's more Eternal Blue, and here's a hip spray. That's interesting. But it does tell the good guys in plain English, yo, someone is in your network, they're exploiting Eternal Blue, and they are actually using MSF style exploits. So I mean, you would have to be really not aware of what's going on. Possible Metasploit payload common construct bind. This is the one that we were looking at on port 444. So you have it right there. Now let's look at one of these again. Let's pick this one. Again, just filter by one of them. This is where if you wanted to escalate this to other people and let them know what's going on, you'll be able to do this. All right, so we know that our reverse shell was established on port 444. And if we look at this, this is where the timestamps matter. Now you're saying, hey, at this time from to this IP address from a Kali Linux machine, Surikata labeled this as high, and look at what we found. A reverse shell. And here's the source port, destination port, that's the message. My favorite one is this network data.decoded. I get to see some stuff that's interesting there sometimes. And in this case, it looks like a bunch of gibberish from Metasploit. I wonder if it encrypts the traffic. Someone let me know in the comments if Metasploit does something to the traffic. Because I'm pretty sure in Metasploit I don't think it's in plain text. Metasploit might try to hide, or there might be modules that we can use in Metasploit to even cover our tracks. Because this looks like gibberish to me. I should be able to read this stuff. But we can tell that it's a reverse shell that was established here. It literally says it was established. So you can take notes, let the right people know that this machine needs to be isolated from the network. And hopefully you can just go and turn it off. So that was our very first TryHackMe attempt, and I think it was good. Next, as you can see here, we have some OVAs that we can download. So if you want to practice this in your own lab, I encourage you to just go to TryHackMe, download the OVAs, and get to it. If you don't have a lab like I do here with all the detection stuff, attack the machines on the TryHackMe platform. It's also free. Most of them, at least, you can access for free. As you can see, I don't have a subscription, and I was able to get this one done today in under an hour with you guys. So that's what we had here. Another component that I wanted to cover is that for the OSCP and even for the license penetration tester certification that I'm going for, they try to make sure that you do things manually. So you see that on Windows, from Hack the Box, there is another machine named Blue. I already completed this one. It's again the same exploit. You can apply manual exploitation, and unfortunately in this case the Eternal Blue is again another script that you just give parameters source destination IP, and it does everything for you. So I guess it's no different from running Metasploit. But at least if you wanted to go and mess with things, you need to be able to move files to Windows, which I think are other skills that we should be learning. Like, how do we transfer files when we fire up our Python, simple HTTP, right? We should be doing that in the future instead of relying on the Metasploit shell. So that's where things like this will come in place, right? Where we'll be using PowerShell. So as we build our skills in the future live streams like this, you're going to see that I'll be avoiding Metasploit at all costs and doing things manually, so I can get comfortable again with PowerShell, moving files around, and also Windows command line, so that we really learn these things and get them done and not rely on automated Metasploit. So that's what we had here for today. Let me see if there's a question that I might have missed. Nmap or Metasploit will get picked up in most IDS. Yes, and unfortunately, and the good thing for us is that we get to see it, right? Instead of just having someone who has seen it in production or who has played with it, we actually get to see it in our own lab, that if you do this, you get picked up no matter what. Unless if you are smart about it. With Nmap, there are options that you can use, like there are half scans where at least you might try to hide that way. But I think Metasploit, sometimes there's some form of encryption that goes on, so it's not everything that you can see on what Metasploit did. If you want this, if you're talking about getting this, this is a free document by TJ Now. Everybody who went through the OSCP, they've gone through this document, and I've gone through a lot of machines from this document. Like my whole last year, I've cracked a bunch of machines, and I think I got better at this stuff because of this list here. And I've even forgotten some of these machines, like Bastard. I need to revisit them, so I might actually just attack them again on live streams so we can see them again. Yes. All right. If people don't have questions, I'm curious. I want to look at other traffic here that we generated, because we generated a lot of noise from that Metasploit attack that we were doing. And I'm more curious to see, okay, on 445, what were we doing? Mostly like what rule fired, what was it looking for, and what was in there. Okay, this one actually tags it as Eternal Blue. It tells you that if somebody was learning Metasploit, like we already know. Interesting. Expand the message. Oh, okay, so this is the auxiliary scanner that we were using. All right, so that was one of them. And another component of this is we need to get comfortable looking at this stuff, especially for those people who say, oh, I want to work in cybersecurity. I want to work in cybersecurity. Depending on which part of cybersecurity you end up working in, you might end up interacting with data that looks like this. At least you get a chance to see what that other side might look like. If you, do you like to look at stuff like this? Or do you not like to look at stuff like this? Are you detail-oriented enough to be looking at this and making sense of it and not miss stuff if you're able to do it manually? Maybe. Let's look at the last page. All right, so Eternal Blue doesn't have much exciting stuff except all the noise that we already know that it generates on the network. If you want to crack it manually, just search in Google Eternal Blue manual exploit, or we can just use search exploit. I think Eternal is fine. Wait, I used to do this in Kali. Why can't I use search exploit here? Oh well, don't know why. You can just look on exploit DB. There is a already you can see other ways to do it manually, like you can deliver using a I think maybe a Python script or other automated scripts, but again it's the same deal pretty much. It's Eternal Blue. So this was our machine. I think we can safely say it's good to go. So let's power it off. And I may need to delete some of these from my VirtualBox. Let's see. Not that one. Ricardo says, which configuration must have the virtual machines? Oh, the virtual machine, you just download it from here as an OVA, import it in VirtualBox. Again, this is optional. If you don't want to deal with this, do it on their platform. This is only if you want to do this. Mine is bridged because it's connected to the lab. And that way, since it's bridged, it gets DHCP. Then I can sniff traffic from here using my intrusion detection system. That's all I'm doing here. I have a security onion that's sniffing everything in my lab. That's why I can see this traffic here. So mine is in bridged mode. But if you don't want to see what's going on with this virtual machine, just go ahead and launch the one that they give you. And even use their attack box, which I think is awesome. So that's what we had for today, guys. And I appreciate everybody who joined us tonight. And if you haven't, please hit that thumbs up to let the algorithm know that this content is good for others. And also consider subscribing to this channel so that we can get to 20,000 subscribers very soon. And let's see. I haven't looked at the TryHackMe Splunk class, but I know they do have a really great introduction to Splunk here that compares actually to the Splunk one. Splunk, the vendor, they also have a free class on their website. Between Splunk, the free class that they have on their website, and TryHackMe, you should be really, really good. The only reason why I avoid using Splunk in my lab is because they have data caps. They limit how much I can ingest, and my lab sometimes I go crazy with a bunch of data and I don't like their limits. But I might spin it up for just an hour for when we do these labs, so we can have Splunk and Security Onion side by side and have mirrored traffic there, because I think that would be really fun. That would be actually super fun. You know what? I'm going to do that. Because it's as simple as setting up a VM with Splunk and sending data to it. Yeah. 500 megs, that might be a lot. Because sometimes I've seen in my lab here, I've seen 2 million events. I mean, the count here has gone up a lot. And I would really hate to not see the critical stuff because I ran out of the limit. Yeah. I've done the boss of the SOC that you're talking about, Ricardo. In fact, I was debating on starting showing those ones as well. So as soon as I'm done with my license penetration tester exam, which is, by the way, 24 hours live pen testing and then a pen test report, I found out that it's actually comparable, if not harder, than the OSCP. So I need to get going and keep attacking the machines. I'm making a lot of progress there. Yes, I agree. Yes, let me show you what I'm talking about. Isn't learning super fun though? I think that if you like this type of stuff, your learning becomes super fun. Like you just become okay, so this is what I'm talking about. You really become it's enjoyable to learn stuff like this. So I'm going for the certified penetration tester course. As you can see, I've covered a bunch of things. Most of the material is here on the network penetration testing. For me, this is mostly a lot of repetition between the certified ethical hacker practical and this and other classes that I've taken from the Cyber Mentor. It's a lot of repetition, I have to say. So I'm usually playing GTA 5, playing FIFA while watching videos because it's a lot of repetition. I can't stand it. I'm watching it twice the speed most of the time. And I'm almost done with the network penetration testing. And once I'm done with this, the rest of these I'm just going to fly through. And then this certified penetration tester test, if you pass it with 90%, that means 90% of the score, you automatically become a licensed penetration tester. And my goal is to get that 90% and just become the licensed penetration tester. Once I get the 90%, I'm also planning on making sure that I get this certification, and then hopefully within 2 months of that, sit for the OSCP, because there's a lot of overlap of material. Get both of them out of the way. And there's a lot of learning, which is super fun. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the pen testing stuff. Oh yeah, this right here is definitely hands-on. It's 24 hours. It's a 24-hour exam, and it involves pivoting between networks. And they say I can take it in 2 chunks, 2 12-hour exams. Then I have 1 week to write a report on my findings, which is where it differs from the OSCP. I think is that these people give you a week to submit a report. The OSCP, I think you have to submit your report very, very quickly. But the report is sort of optional. Yes, it's 24 hours, just like the OSCP. So yeah, this is what I'm studying, and hopefully by the end of the next week or so, I'll be done with all this material. I just need to go through it. I actually have labs from them. I'm going to start the labs from them next week. I don't know how much I'm going to do of their labs, to be honest, other than maybe read through them, make sure that, because some of their labs are like, hey, here's Nmap. Can you run Nmap with a script scan? Those ones I will probably just skip through. Yeah. Awesome. So those are great questions. If you missed the actual attack that we're doing here, guys, today we spent some time just attacking our machine from TryHackMe code Blue. We got NT very soon. There wasn't any privilege escalation or anything like that. So it was a simple machine using Metasploit, and we were able to detect some traffic here. And we looked at some traffic, and we got a good taste of what TryHackMe looks like. And it's hit and miss, right? It's not our typical attack and detect where we actually attack and try to put an effort in finding things and escalating privileges and actually enumerating more. But we learned something about Metasploit today. So that's what we had there. Let's see. And we also introduced our friend Parrot. And to be honest, I don't mind Parrot. I don't see value in moving to Parrot 100%. I'm just going to stick to my Kali. The interface doesn't look any better than Kali, so they're both pretty much the same thing to me. So I'll probably go back to Kali where I'm more comfortable and I have my tools already loaded. So that's where we'll be right there. Awesome. So let me know, guys, what you guys think. Should we continue doing it the TryHackMe way of submitting their flags, which might be a little bit watered down, or should we just grab the machine and attack it the way we normally attack machines, which is we have a machine, we don't know anything about it, let's attack it, and let's not try to follow their guided methodology. Let me know. It's nice to get their acknowledgement and their flags. It also gets in the way of them hand holding me in a way. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that. I like the guidance, kind of don't. Yeah, I think it does really help you, sends you in the right direction. And I'm curious about this one, the one that says this room for Splunk. Here it is. This will be nice. These are the sock of the balls of the sock that we were talking about, right? Here's the one. I might crack one of these before I go to bed. Nice. All right, guys. As you can see, yeah. Right now, I need to go back and get. As you can see, I have a few checkboxes here. I don't just do these live streams, right? I have to go and also sharpen my skills. And I paid for this training from EC Council. I need to get it all going. Right now I'm finishing this module here, network penetration testing. I need to get it going so I can get this exam going. So as you can see, I did most of this. I just have these 3 to go. And it's going to teach me how to search for exploits using Sagesploit. How convenient, right? So thank you all for joining. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel, like these videos, let everybody know that we have so much fun here. I appreciate everybody who joins me every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Have a great Christmas.